Welcome to This Explainer. Okay, as your business mentor today, I'm absolutely thrilled to dive into this with you. We're looking at some game-changing insights from Jonathan Reed's book, Start a Business from Zero. Specifically, we're going to zero in on a super actionable plan to build your minimum viable version, or your MVP. You know, that magical, kind of scary moment where you finally pivot from just daydreaming about your business to actually delivering real, tangible value to the world?
So, here's our game plan for today. First, we'll tackle the trap of perfectionism. Then, why utility always beats impression. Next, we'll look at the prototype bridge concept. After that, we're designing your actual first version. Then, testing that real prototype out in the wild. And finally, we'll wrap up with a small win checklist. Let's get right into it. All right, Section 1, the trap of perfectionism. Let's just address the elephant in the room right off the bat, right? That heavy psychological pressure of, oh man, this just isn't good enough. I want you to ask yourself a really honest question right now. Are you building to solve a problem, or are you building to impress people? See, building to impress creates a ton of stress because we suddenly link our product to our own identity. We want it to be this flawless masterpiece. But if you just shift your mindset to building simply to solve a problem, boom, you instantly strip away that ego, focus purely on utility, and honestly, you relieve so much of that pressure. Reed actually hits the nail on the head here. He says, perfectionism often presents itself as high standards, but in practice, it delays action. I mean, wow, think about that. Our desire to present this flawless, polished product actually sabotages our ability to learn and grow. You gotta remember, you aren't building the final, ultimate version of your business right now. You're literally just building the first functional version. Trying to be perfect too early, it actually harms your product because you're hiding from the one thing you need most, real user feedback. And that leads us straight into the classic traps that catch almost every beginner. It almost always starts with that one little thought. Well, if I just add this one more feature, it'll be perfect. Next thing you know, you're overbuilding these super complex tools, draining all your time and energy, and you don't even know if people want the core thing you're offering. Delaying a launch because it feels incomplete, or obsessing over your logo and branding before the core experience even works, those are surefire ways to completely stall your progress.
Moving right along to Section 2, Utility Beats Impression. Let me put on my customer advisor hat for a second, because the difference here is huge. Building for impression is complicated, it's delayed, and it's super stressful for everyone involved. But building for utility, it's simple, it's immediate, and most importantly, it functions. I promise you, simple, transparent solutions actually build really deep trust. Why? Because functional simplicity proves to your customer that you care deeply about solving their problem today, instead of making them wait around while you show off some fancy new tech. It reduces their stress and yours. Seriously, you do not need an extensive, complicated tech stack to deliver real value. Imagine this. Instead of spending weeks trying to build a fully automated platform, you just start with an immediate manual service, like, say, a simple 60-minute one-on-one video call to solve a client's specific problem. It requires absolutely zero coding, and you get to start learning from real people immediately. Once you nail down that manual process and know exactly what the customer actually needs, then, and only then, you can transition that proven framework into a fully automated system. Offer the real value first, scale with the technology later. Okay, Section 3, the prototype bridge. I love this metaphor. Think of your MVP as a prototype bridge. The goal is absolutely not to make it beautiful or scenic or polished. The goal is literally just to make it crossable. If your raw, clunky prototype helps a user get from their problem on one side of the river to a solution on the other side, it works. It did its job. And here's a little secret. Being totally transparent with those early users about the raw state of your prototype, it actually builds immense trust. They see your genuine desire to help them, not just sell them something shiny. Another great way to think about it is comparing a sketch to a painting. Your minimum viable version, it's just the sketch. It's meant to capture the essential structure really quickly. By treating your first version this way, you start building these incredible habits that let you test hypotheses fast. You get it out there, see if it holds up, and avoid falling into that nasty trap of endless perfect planning. The detailed, time-consuming painting, that comes much, much later down the line. All right, let's get practical. Section 4, designing your first version. Time to roll up our sleeves and look at Reed's MVP design sheet. It's built around 3 incredibly simple but powerful questions. 1, what is the main result I deliver? 2, what is the absolute simplest way to deliver it? And 3, what format will I use? Answering these specific questions creates constraints, and constraints are your best friend here. They force you to focus entirely on the essential value and strip away anything that doesn't directly solve the customer's immediate problem. Next up is a great trimming technique, separating the must-haves from the can-waits. This teaches you exactly how to differentiate between essential value and non-essential fluff. Must-haves are the vital, non-negotiable components required to actually deliver that core result. Can-waits? That's all the extra stuff, the polished branding, the automated onboarding sequences. Basically, if you can remove an element and it doesn't break the core result, cut it. Throw it straight onto the can-wait list. So, step by step, you need to ruthlessly evaluate every single element of your design. Ask yourself, does this version directly solve the core problem? Can someone experience a real, tangible result with just this piece? Is anything here optional rather than essential? And listen, if your resulting product feels almost too simple to you, congratulations. That is actually a fantastic sign that you've successfully stripped away the fluff while preserving the actual critical value. Which brings us to Section 5, testing your real prototype. Once your simplified version is designed, it's time to actually talk to someone. It's time to initiate a real customer conversation. And it can be as simple as this scenario right here. Hey, I am offering a simple one-time session to help you organize your tasks and create a clear daily plan. Boom, that's it. This proves you do not need a perfectly polished sales script or some massive expensive website. Presenting a raw, honest offer is literally all it takes to interact with a customer and demonstrate immediate, real value. Now, when you finally put it out there, you need to know how to measure those initial user reactions. You want fast, actionable feedback. So focus on these 4 areas. Does the solution actually help them? Do they instinctively understand how to use it? Does it actually create the promised result? And crucially, where exactly do people get stuck? If you pay close attention to those specific areas, your very first users will literally hand you the blueprint for what to do next. This introduces a massive core principle: rapid iterations over perfect finalization. Look at this timeline. Day 1, build the absolute smallest useful version. Day 2, test it with real users. Day 3, learn from the feedback and adjust. This rapid iteration loop is a total game changer. It completely replaces the risky, stressful pressure of trying to build a perfect final product in a vacuum with the safety and incredible speed of continuous learning. The faster you spin this wheel, the faster you grow. Okay, our final section. Section 6, the small win checklist. I want to make sure you walk away from this explainer ready to take real action. So here is your fast deployment checklist. Ask yourself, have you defined the core result? Have you simplified the structure? Have you separated the absolute essentials from the extras? Have you clearly described that first customer experience? And finally, is it usable right now? Checking off these items guarantees you have a highly functional, stress-reducing first version that is ready for the real world. And that brings us to a behavioral challenge directly from Jonathan Reed. I am challenging you to break the cycle of endless planning right now. Within the next 72 hours, complete this specific, actionable goal. Define your MVP and share it with at least one real person. Not a week from now, not when I get around to it. 72 hours. So as we wrap up today, I want to leave you with this final, somewhat provocative question to really chew on. What is the absolute smallest version of your idea that you can share in the next 72 hours? Seriously, leave the perfectionism behind. Remember, as your mentor, I'm telling you, useful always, always beats impressive at the beginning. Ask yourself what tiny, crossable bridge you can build right now to make your business a reality. Start building and start learning.